This episode is presented by Smirnoff. We do game days. Please drink responsibly. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York.
I want to get to Pablo Torre and his reporting. It seems excessive. 11 people, 11 journalists, or 11 sources on a story that is just supermarket tabloid junk. But before I do that, the exact Draymond Green quote, and it's a great one. I'm not an angry black man. I'm great at basketball. I'm great at what I do. The agenda of trying to make me look like an angry black man is crazy. I'm sick of it. It's ridiculous. I think calling him the angry black man is almost the fairest time that you can ever say that in sports. And be able to feel like you can quantify it. Like your play suggests you're angry. It's part of why you're great, and it's part of why you're crazy.
Why are you guys making me punch my teammates? Why are you guys making me put Rudy Gobert in a chokehold?
Why are you making me kick other players in the balls?
Everyone knows I'm going to get ejected and miss a game before the finals. We all know this. You're going to get suspended. Like what?
Shame on all of you.
So Pablo, Draymond Green, angry black man, yes or no?
What aisle of the grocery store is this? Because I want to be in the different one. You guys are in the can we call this black guy really angry aisle, and I'm just trying to be over here doing real journalism. I will say that Draymond Green seemingly discovering that flagrants don't count against his technical count, quietly brilliant. If that's a solution to not being banned himself, is to just flagrant foul people instead of technical foul people.
Why would Draymond agree? Why would he get mad about being called angry?
Well, and where did it even come from? Like, what was the...
I think there's a very simple answer here, is that Draymond Green is grasping for any amount of spin around what is unquestionable and well-documented behavior. And he's like, this feels like a thing that people would have sympathy for. And so he says it. I don't think it's much deeper than that. I think Draymond Green has no credibility on the question of, does he do things uncontrollably? The only question is, how intentional is his recklessness?
Are you saying that this is manipulation, that this is public manipulation to just start a race fire around him because he loves to be in the center of conflict? Jim Leland used to say this about Barry Bonds. He'd go and invent things so that he could have all sorts of dumpster fires around him.
Well, I also think it's something that I'm sure he's bothered by. Like, if you're Draymond Green and you're rationalizing to yourself, why does no one understand my genius as a basketball player, you go to something that feels like it might be generally true of people who are like you, even if specifically it is absolutely not the reason why people think you have a deserved reputation.
Is it fair to be like, hold on, Draymond? Like, I understand in the entire climate during your professional career, it's not okay, especially for someone like me or a SportsCenter anchor, to call you an angry black man. We realize that that's pretty heavy, and no one's actually going to go ahead and say that. No one really is thinking about that, honestly. Maybe some are. I'm not. I just think you're like one of the crazier people that has ever played that sport. But don't come around and say, like, I'm doing that to you. I think you can take offense and push back to the notion that I'm not the one perpetuating this narrative. If anybody here, it's you, Draymond.
Yeah, he's his own worst enemy in this situation. Of course, being an angry black man is a stereotypical trope, and I can't really defend him on this because his actions on the court leads people to believe that, hey, you're an angry black man, especially what he did to Rudy Gobert. Like, you put him in a chokehold and everything. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't even think in this particular case, like, if you want to put the angry and black together, Pat Riley identifies as an angry human being. Like, I'm not even sure that angry is a bad thing to be if it's the coal in your furnace on however it is that you become great at things. The thing he's great at, nobody else wants to be great at.
It's like a combination of the things, because I don't think, like, if you ask people to describe Draymond Green, angry would come back a lot of the time. If anyone actually follows the sport, they'd say, yeah, that guy plays angry, and it's probably the reason he's built a Hall of Fame career, but he's an angry dude.
He's undersized. The anger makes him bigger.
Yeah, he's an angry dude. Also, he is black. But putting it together is dangerous in these times. And if you're going to say that this narrative is out there about you. And to be fair, I don't know how you perceive these things. I haven't lived a day in your shoes. I just know I've never called you that, and I don't appreciate being told that this is some sort of narrative that we're building when we all have eyes. Like, we've all followed the sport.
Zaz, you're proudly prejudiced. Is he an angry black man?
When I'm a judge,
Oh.
I rule with prejudice. In my everyday life, I'm absolutely not prejudiced. How dare you? So right now, I'm not a judge. So there is no prejudice coming from me.
Do you want to judge on that? Do you want to make a ruling on this?
Seems like
I
he's
do.
punting.
I do, actually.
Ooh, okay. You're
Because
in. You want
Pablo
the smoke?
sat it out. Pablo didn't want the smoke. Pablo,
do.
Let's see if his ruling is with or without prejudice here.
So we are deciding. It is up to me to determine whether or not he is an angry black man. We're throwing that on my.
You are
That's in my
the
courtroom
most
right now.
qualified person in America as Judge Zaslow, and clearly not a black person at all.
Well, as Judge Zaslow, I rule that Draymond Green is in fact not an angry black man.
Good ruling.
Yeah, good ruling. I agree.
Wow.
I rule with prejudice.
Wait a minute.
Feels like the judge got scared there. Feels like the judge got real scared of the way that things get clipped these days.
That's ruling without prejudice. I wanted him to rule with prejudice.
Judge Zaslow always rules with prejudice.
Okay, can I try this another way? Is Draymond Green angry?
Why'd
Yes.
you turn before?
Is Draymond Green black?
Yeah.
Judge Zaslow rules. Yes.
He's gonna
Is
get
he
you
indeed
trapped.
a man?
He's going to trap you. Be
Judge
careful.
Zaslow rules that he is a man.
Isn't he? Is he an angry black man?
No, not at all.
Judge Zaslow rules that Draymond Green, upon further consideration,
What?
is not an
That's
angry
it.
black man.
Very good
That's
ruling.
not
Very good
fair.
ruling.
It's
Very good.
not.
That's
Smart ruling.
Great
Smart
ruling.
ruling.
Judge,
With prejudice.
Judge without prejudice.
Thank
I
you.
like the show where we find out if the judge is guilty. I like that show.
We're headed there.
That never happens in my courtroom.
We've been there. Clarence Thomas already is. Moving on to other things. Pablo Torre is attacking politics and whatnot.
Now, keep in mind, this is just on the court stuff. We don't know this man off the court. Like, he could be the happiest man on earth.
That is true, but also he wasn't, and this was on a court. It wasn't on the game court because I would think that would make the flames higher. But the punching the teammate in the face thing.
Practice court.
Yeah, but the punching, all of us seeing the video of the punching the teammate in the face thing.
Not great.
A lot of circumstantial evidence around his angry. No circumstantial evidence around his black or his man.
Well, we can have Pablo find out.
Yeah.
Pablo, your
We
next
did.
assignment.
Yeah,
I
Pablo
did
found
this
out
already.
what happened.
You found
on
out if
that.
he was an angry black
No,
man?
he
You hear that
found out
episode? I
why
heard that
Jordan
episode.
Poole got
Journalist.
punched in the face.
Tony heard this episode?
No, I'm
Even
kidding. I didn't.
Tony?
No, I didn't.
We did. We solved the mystery of what did Jordan Poole say to Draymond Green to get him punched in the face in a way that is not racially specific, but merely indicative of a larger emotional temperament. That is exactly what we did. He said, "You're just a backpack for 30." And Draymond Green, in a totally non-racially specific way, punched him in the face. Yeah, we found that out last year, or actually 2 years ago now, fall of 2023.
Can we do a top 5 list right now with Pablo Torre on top 5 things Pablo has found out? Because he's in the middle of a media swirl right now. He's gotten close to this sewage story, this story that we can't get enough of, cotton candy, everybody prying into Belichick's bedroom. I will tell you, I promise you, I've never wanted to be there. We're all there now. We're there together. CBS Sunday Morning is there. That cheesy foof that was on CBS Sunday Morning that was interviewing him, that did televised nonsense and did what Pablo is doing right now, feeding with 11 sources off the Belichick story everybody wants to talk about. Number 5, 5th best Pablo Torre find out was, or do you want to do OLI first?
Let's do some OLIs. I have not prepared this, but the
But
episode is actually that crazy.
Yes, you're always happy to talk about yourself, and they've done a lot of prize-winning work. So Tony, how many? Pablo is doing something no one else is doing in the space. He is throwing journalism at some curiosities that no one else is exploring. So how many of you have you heard? Because he's producing a television show. It's quite good.
They're incredibly exciting. I love the titles of them. I love hearing them on the show. I'm getting to all of them, but I love them, right? Like when he tells me Dallas Cowboys fans on death row, I'm like, oh, I'm in. After some other things, but I'm in eventually. There's one day where I'm going to be in.
So none? You
So
haven't-
0, yeah.
They're in the queue.
Saz, have you watched
very good.
have you seen or listened to a single Pablo Torre Finds Out episode?
I have. I've seen a few episodes.
Which
Thanks,
one?
Zaz.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I had him on one time where there was this story about something that was, I don't want to get into the whole thing, but
Yeah.
it was with Israel, and I thought he did a really terrific job on it.
Thank
Wow,
you.
You really
yes.
you just.
No, Judge Zaz.
Didn't know where that one was going.
I thought there was a mosquito in the room. It was. I mean, what was
an
that?
episode
No, it was an actual episode about an Israeli soccer player who got taken hostage, and it was a really good episode.
Yeah.
Thanks, Zaz. I remember that
man.
conversation.
Yep.
It was.
I had you
it
on my
was-
show.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
We all thought you were talking about Israel Gutierrez.
Oh,
Different episode. Different episode.
Yeah, different.
We're the 3rd ranked sports podcast on Apple right now, so just check us out if you haven't. We're doing that stuff over there
Mother
for Metal
Bleeper,
Arc Media.
Did you climb past us? Did you just climb past us? Now, keep in mind, Simmons and Pardon My Take, they get out early on Sunday. So just Pablo feasted this weekend. Don't get carried away.
You sound
Look,
defensive.
the feast was not entirely cotton candy. Admittedly, there's some real reporting. For instance, OLI. There is a 28,000-year-old dildo in Jordan Hudson's mom's sex museum in Provincetown.
That's OLI. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for OLI.
Yeah.
How do you identify that it's made for sex? It could just be a stick.
Yeah.
I mean, he said
it was
he said
made-
It was, he
well,
said it was
okay,
a
hold on.
dildo. A dildo
Hold on.
Is it phallic in nature?
No, he said it was
Number 5.
Does it have balls?
There is a plaque alongside the 28,000-year-old dildo that explains it is made of camel dung.
That can't be clean.
It's unsanitary.
But could they have used like the camel dong as like a
No, not
pistol
camel
and-
dong.
Dung.
No, it
Dung.
is dung
Camel.
dong though. In Billy's defense.
Dung dong.
camel.
Hello,
dung.
it's Pat Riley. Scary Terry.
I love a landline in Milwaukee. They're absolutely picking up a landline in Milwaukee to take calls on Giannis.
It's exclusively how you answer calls from Pat Riley.
I think my favorite thing like this time of year is watching videos of NFL GMs and presidents like crank calling each other like while the other team is on the clock. It makes no sense that they're wasting their time doing this, but they all seem like kids having fun while they're supposed to be drafting their teams.
Are you giving us the top 5 facts about your Pablo Torre finds out story, or are you just giving us your best Pablo Torre finds out stories? Which are you doing?
This is all from the Belichick episode.
Okay.
That's a longer list. By the way, is there a sound that anyone else hearing that sound? Is there a background
What
noise?
sound?
What
No,
sound?
there's no sound.
No.
What is
what
that?
sound are you talking about?
Greg had a charging thing
is
the
that
other
your
day.
headphones? Is something happening with
Like
your
the faint sound of bird song?
No, that's not
Hearing
happening.
the faint
Is that the
sound of
CBS Sunday
bird
morning
song.
sound? Listen, this guy who interviewed Belichick, you tell me if this sound right here is how any human being talks, or is this just a broadcaster being extra cheesy broadcaster because he's on CBS Sunday morning and he's got to trap Belichick and his young girlfriend?
You're probably thinking the same thing I was when I sat down with Bill Belichick. The now 73-year-old former NFL coach wasn't interested in gloating about his many achievements. Football is everything for Belichick.
No one talks like that, but this is where he cornered Belichick, and there was no moving around him.
The other change for Belichick is 24-year-old Jordan Hudson, his creative muse.
That last 3 words,
His
not
creative muse.
not objective journalism right there.
Oh, wait, hold on. I guess number 4, in the acknowledgments page of Bill Belichick's book, he explicitly thanks one of the first people, and it is, quote, his ideas mill and creative muse, Jordan Hudson.
That's not what I'm not saying she's not that. I'm saying the way he said it had a question mark in it and cynicism.
His creative muse.
I know that Belichick says that, but he's questioning it while pretending to not question it.
His creative muse.
And it's slathered in Velveeta. No one talks that way.
His creative muse.
He's winking at the audience. No, it's not real.
His creative muse.
It's that pause between the his and the creative.
His creative muse.
So someone saw a camel take a dump and was like, let's make a dildo.
What is that?
I'm telling you, it could be used for anything. It could have been a hammer.
On YouTube, it's very clearly a dong.
They made a YouTube 20,000 years ago in which you were watching a
28,000
sex
years.
act. Like,
Right.
come on, Pablo.
I mean, some of this stuff is still common practice. Have you ever heard of the Alaskan pipeline?
Let's not do that.
Judge Zaslow?
Pablo, can you help me, please, with the dildo? Phrasing.
Well,
Cut that, please.
I just
Well,
want
cut that.
how factual is the museum? How factual? They're questioning. It can't be camel dung. It can't be a camel dong. Why would anyone use camel dung as a camel dong? It seems unhygienic. They're questioning it. Why do we know that from 20,000 years ago? What did Pablo Torre find out?
Number 3, the sex museum is the first thing you enter on the way to the sex shop. And in the sex museum, there are a series of exhibits, including one where there's a cock ring made out of a goat eyelid, which I didn't even have time for in this episode.
It's rising up the charts. I didn't mean to sound
if you
defensive
want,
about that.
I can whisper in your ear what an Alaskan pipeline is.
I really don't want that. I didn't want
It's
to
a
think
service
about
that I'm
it.
offering.
Nope,
so
thank
just-
you.
You're offering it or just explaining it was what you're offering?
I'll explain what it is.
No,
Tap me
thank
on the
you.
shoulder if
Number
you want to know.
Number two. Well, you know what? Hold on a second. Since you're saying it,
Well,
I
it
think
has a
this
lot
is-
to do with
this
number
is
2.
rather literal. No, it has a lot to do with this too.
We've got a penalty, 5 minutes. Major asshole.
Sorry, Zaz.
Dan's right. He knows.
Roy, you heard.
We all know what you were talking about with the
Just sitting here.
Alaskan pipeline.
Jessica, get
Get out of here. You're not helpful. You're immature. You and him.
Him?
Yes, you and him. You keep. I wanted to say fisting, but pounding fists. You keep pounding fists.
Yes.
That doesn't help.
Pablo, number 2.
Number 2 is that the sex museum / shop in question has been embroiled in a documented Board of Health scandal around the illicit use and administering of injectable erectile dysfunction drugs.
Okay, so the family sex museum. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? We're just doing that.
That's literally just one segment of the show. Like, I'm not even. This is like a fraction of a fraction.
All right. So
of
what
I
did you
found out.
find out? Number 1.
Number 1 is that the University of North Carolina wants to call me a liar because I reported that Jordan Hudson was banned from their building and football program, even though multiple sources explicitly told me that she is no longer welcome, allowed, or able to work for the university in any football context.
How'd you manage with 11 sources to still get the story so wrong, Pablo?
I know. It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. If you were to believe a school that has every incentive to lie to cover up everything else that I reported.
Well, Pablo, this
it's very
part,
funny
though,
in that way.
I've always found this a little bit scary around reporting. When you're out there and all you can trust is your sources. You have 11 of them. You are resolute as a university is going to want to protect itself. These football programs are strong. The economy around Belichick is strong. They will flog you if your information is correct. In today's age, people can deny everything. Why is your information correct? Because North Carolina is going to keep saying your story's bull.
Yeah, I think it's very telling, actually, what North Carolina did. So I have this report that comes out Friday morning that's deeply sourced, has said things that are not in question at all, which is basically surrounding this meeting from the higher-ups at the university, from the chancellor's office, down to the athletics department, down to the football program, in which it is said, again, that Jordan Hudson cannot be in the building anymore, cannot be around the team, is not wanted around the team, will not be around the team anymore in the way that she has been, by the way. And the way that she has been, just for people who are not caught up on this, she was CC'd, asking to be CC'd on every email to Bill Belichick. She was bossing people around behind the scenes. She was on the field with Bill on video in a way that scared everybody who has to worry about the reputation of both Bill and the program and also recruiting. And what the statement that Carolina did release, what it said was, I'm just going to look it up here because I think it's worth quoting, because all they needed to say was, this nobody reporter got it wrong. Jordan is welcome at our building. Instead, for the first time, they said this, quote, while Jordan Hudson is not an employee at the university or Carolina athletics, she is welcome to the Carolina football facilities. Jordan will continue to manage all activities related to Coach Belichick's personal brand outside of his responsibilities for Carolina football and the university. So they could have said, she's welcome here, period, end of story. Instead, what they do, in a very obvious way to me, is say, she doesn't work for us. She's not doing anything related to us. She is not employed by us in any legal way. Do not blame us for how she may be behaving. That's his thing, not ours.
So
that is what they said.
So stressful to be in the middle of this, or exhilarating because you know you've got your sources and you trust your sources? Again, this is a thing. I know this is a silly story. I know. But
it's about power.
No,
it's about power, but in a real way.
Yes, because I do want to get into this part of it, Pablo. Just the idea of the male football establishment. There's no way they're letting this into the building. Like they'll do with the they'll do the pink fields. They'll do the pink fields to traffic in whatever profit there is around breast cancer awareness. But the caveman locker rooms, not letting a woman this ambitious on the premises. Like that when this happens to their beloved coach, that's the end of the relationship with her.
So I think there's actually a parallel to the Draymond thing here, now that I sort of think it out with you, because on some level, I am also the person who's like, it's insane that you would blame Olivia Munn for Aaron Rodgers' performance on the field. That is like textbook misogyny, right? You should not blame the significant other of any athlete for how they perform on the field. This, though, is not that. This happens to be the case of an individual who is so ambitious yet clumsy in how they execute their ambition that they have made enemies in his family, in his inner circle, on his coaching staff, at the athletics department, at the university president level, at every media company she has worked with. The reason I have 11 sources, yes, I must say, I'm an awesome reporter, sure. It's really because everybody is like, you have no idea how bad this really is. Look, I want to take credit. I do want to take credit for me unearthing everybody one by one. What happened was in February, I reported the thing about how she wound up in the football, in the Super Bowl commercial, in this ad with Affleck and Damon, who she was negotiating
because she's
with.
his manager, because she's taking opportunity, a very great opportunity that any manager or agent would take if they too happen to have a relationship with Belichick.
I don't know, Dan, if this is the way you're trying to make it come off, but it makes it seem like you're saying North Carolina not letting Jordan run around and do whatever she wants is because they're anti-women, because she's just this young up-and-comer who's trying to find her place in the world, not she's the coach's girlfriend who doesn't really have any experience running a college football program.
Which do you think is the reason that she's not allowed? Because Belichick
It's not because she's a woman.
No, but Belichick puts his sons in coaching positions. Like Belichick can make economies out of being near Belichick. He can do it with anybody.
Oh, boy. Listen to the episode, please. Please listen to the episode. The thing about how she's conducted herself when it comes to having that power, right, is not merely that she got the power, it's how she's been using it. And it has been in a way that is entirely self-destructive to the person she's trying to protect. The CBS Sunday morning thing, Dan, and the bird chirping, which I assume is just you guys tormenting me.
I don't know what you're talking about. What are you hearing?
I presume that's psychological torment.
What are you hearing?
The reason why that's notable is because that is a puff piece that they were trying to make that she single-handedly turned into something that opened the floodgates on everybody saying this person that I'm dealing with is ruining the legacy and the reputation and the current modern day employment that he has at this university. This guy who is known for discipline and discretion and privacy and defensive strategy, it's being undone by her. And I'm not saying, by the way, that she doesn't have good intentions. I'm not even saying that. I'm merely saying that in Silicon Valley, for instance, to pay a compliment, there are lots of very young people who are very ambitious, who have no idea what the consequences of their decisions are. These are unintended consequences that leave us addicted to cell phones, for instance, just broadly speaking, right? A compliment to Jordan Hudson. She is a prodigy in that regard. The problem is that when you go and you break a lot of things along the way, there are these costs, there are these consequences, and it may result in her boyfriend, who she met when she was 19 years old on an airplane. It may result in him not having that job for much longer. That, to me, is someone who is terrible at their job, even if they mean well. And there is a difference between intent and effect, and we are in the world of results, and it's really going badly.
Pablo, is there a chance that he never coaches a game at UNC?
Absolutely. June 1st, man, look at that contract right before all of this. June 1st, the buyout from the Belichick side of things dropped from $10 million to 10 times less to $1 million. And the theory was that's because he wanted an out if the NFL came sniffing around and said, oh, I would love to have Bill Belichick. I can tell you the NFL has no desire to get to business with Bill Belichick, especially not right now. And then the question becomes, does Bill want to remain there if his bosses are actually saying, look, man, you can't operate this way. You can't embarrass our school this way. In which case, he may not feel like he's in charge anymore. In which case, is it really worth it? If all you want to do is sit in the front row of the Miss Maine pageant, watching your girlfriend at age 24 get second runner-up, if that's what he wants if that's what he wants out of this, I'm not here to yuck his yum. This is not a story about an age gap relationship. This is the story about power and who gets it. And everybody around Belichick got walked over by a very ambitious young prodigy named Jordan Hudson, who is driving that program into the ground. That is why I'm reporting the story. It's not because it's fun and funny and because they're 28,000-year-old dildos. That is merely the happy side benefit of what happens when you open up the mystery box and find what's inside.
Pablo, does this story have a happy ending?
Well, it's hard not to make a Bob Kraft reference here when you ask that question.
Pablo has dominated this story from the very start. It's a pathetic thing to say about him. He was the first to report that Jordan was acting as Bill's agent months ago. He may be Peabody nominated, but this is the story he will be known for. It's pathetic. He's on MSNBC morning.
Wish I could fight back on that.
No, it's gross. The whole thing is gross. It shames you. It's embarrassing to journalism that you traffic off the clicks of this particular story.
But Pablo, it's fair to say, right, the only reason that CBS Morning even talked about this part of his story in the relationship is because Jordan was sitting right there and interrupting the entire time. Had that not happened, they probably would have maybe touched the subject very lightly, but moved right past it. And to your point, just promoted his book and made it a puff piece.
I have reported what that day was like from a lot of different angles, and you're exactly right. They wanted to tell They were at Bill's high school, his old high school in Annapolis, Maryland. The Navy sweatshirt was because they were there in Annapolis trying to tell the story of a guy who wrote a book in which his football lessons, his football wisdoms could apply to non-football people in any walk of life. And he cited her in the acknowledgments. They had posted about how they met. It's just the most softball question to just let you say what it is that you have already said before. But Jordan Hudson, as a PR person, didn't know that she would be on camera, on a microphone. And then the only reason it hasn't been worse, by the way, is because CBS has not released the half hour more of footage, I am told, in which she is giving like Spygate-like hand signals to tell him not to answer other questions. Like the whole thing, they never got to do, you know, in these things, you guys know this, you do a walk and talk around the setting. The reason no one knows it was his old high school in Annapolis was because they never got to the walk and talk. It ended. They never got there. And it's because Jordan Hudson, generously speaking, out of a self-protection, or rather a protection of the two of them together, this power couple, intervened in ways that entirely backfired. And that's why we're talking about this now. It's because they did it to themselves.
With the help of this guy.
His creative muse.
Like he was right there. He was waiting for something like that to happen.
Why didn't they go with Ideas Mill? That's so much better than Creative Muse.
Yeah, it's way funnier to be an ideas mill for somebody.
Well, and he couldn't. I don't think he could come at it with this kind of snark.
His creative muse.
His idea mill isn't as skeptical. Like he's doing his creative muse. He enjoyed doing that.
What ideas? He's a football coach.
Right.
So by the way, the idea for the book, I reported this in the episode too. It was Jordan's idea. She read Ray Dalio's book, Principles. She was like, you should write a book in which you give your lessons to the world. And they did.
Oh, but why would you say ideas? No, you should be in a Belichick. You should do what Saban's doing. He's in a Dunkin' Donuts commercial. You don't want, like, what do you mean? She's his manager. Like,
but also, like, you should also record a commercial of me in a polka dot bikini that we're going to put out there also. Like, that's where the line is kind of crossed from like manager and good PR person to this isn't exactly how that role works, right? Like a good PR person, you don't know who they are and they don't make the story about them and they don't show up to their clients' commercials and say, you should shoot one of just me also.
Yeah, it's not a great use of the power that she acquired as his girlfriend. Didn't go great, isn't going great. And yeah, look, man, I expect, and to Dan's earlier point, I expect to live and be haunted by this reporting because it is endless. I keep on discovering new things, including over the weekend.
This is your beat? This is embarrassing.
I'm just on this beat
Metal
now.
Arc Media funding this is an embarrassment. Funding this this witch hunt. You did the same thing to Marcus Jordan and Larsa Pippen. You did the same thing. You trafficked in the supermarket aisle, and you should be embarrassed by, like, you're Peabody nominated. When I ask you the top 5 Pablo Torre finds out stories, they shouldn't be smut cells.
I mean, I tried to sell you guys on the death row stuff, and that was met with a resounding, can we talk about the dildos? So
back to that really quick. Here. Me and Mike were talking about it. Back then, 28,000 years ago, it was hot. Yeah. No freezers, no nothing to solidify what we had going on there. So
they just left it out?
How did that work?
And they just raw dogged the dung?
All right, what are you doing?
I'm asking the important questions, and it's his job to find out.
Are you going to just stay on this beat? I think you should just keep. You know what I think you should do? Cheap and dirty. I think you should have like 3 straight episodes on this. Like you should just.
Dude,
How many people have used it?
Yeah,
I really could.
You should. You should go ahead and do.
I told you guys that on my top 5 list was a cock ring made of a goat eyelid. That wasn't in the episode.
I can understand.
That's the kind of stuff we had. Well.
That has a practicality and a pliability to the eyelid that I can comprehend. But the camel, though, like it's poop, it's feces.
Pablo, I am asking you to
Unclean.
cheapen. I am asking you publicly to cheapen your brand by just spitting out a bunch of Pablo Torre finds out morsels about this stupid ass story.
Wow. Can I give you? There.
That is a sweet ring.
Yeah.
Wow.
Looks
the
like
eyelashes are
calamari.
like on it still.
Can I give you one thing I didn't include in the episode that I think would be the thing I would do next, but I'm probably not going to because I care about
What don't you like, Zaslow?
like that.
What
my
don't you
reputation.
like? The cutting room floor
It's
thing?
too much.
No, that thing that they showed on the screen. I don't like
You don't
it.
like it?
Talk
I don't
about
like
the
it
cutting
either.
room floor, the making of that thing. Look, there is one detail.
I don't like
Can I just give you one detail that I didn't include that I think should haunt everybody, including the University of North Carolina? Can I do that before I get out of here?
Yeah.
You remember the roast of Tom Brady where Tom Brady made that joke about Bill Belichick and the ring cam? You guys remember this at all? Different ring.
What ring cam?
Oh no, that's the sound you. Look at this,
you're
Pablo.
doing he trapped us
thing.
like a true journalist, the way that Billy trapped
is
Roy
that right?
before.
Pablo,
We got you.
that's the sound we've been playing
right?
behind you. Him coming out.
Oh.
This is actually Belichick, right? And he benches 310.
Can I tell you the story behind this video, which I couldn't even include in the episode?
Yes, please.
So the story behind this is that this was reportedly filmed, of course, at Jordan's abode. She has this whole real estate venture. She has this, budding real estate empire that I didn't report, but others did. Now, the question I had as a reporter when I saw that video and am haunted by that video, audio as well, is how did the Daily Mail get that video? How does one get internal ring cam footage from a home? How does that happen? Who had access to those videos? And let's say it wasn't Jordan Hudson, just for the sake of this hypothetical that I am just merely hypothetically going into depth on. If it wasn't Jordan Hudson, who was it? And what other videos might have been taken without Bill Belichick's knowledge at almost age 70, wandering around like a bear in the woods on a porch, looking for food? How else could they ensure that there is nothing else that could be monetized or used against the highest paid employee in the state of North Carolina? It's just a question that I think people, I can report now exclusively that Bill Belichick's family is worried about, that they're looking into. And I feel like the university that says I'm a liar might want to do the same.
Wait, is he a hostage?
This feels like.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that it's a weird video. It's a weird video.
Right.
Where'd it come from?
What do you mean? Don't say you're not saying anything. You were saying.
Who got it?
Don't say you weren't saying anything.
Why
you were saying
would
something.
they do
Her
that?
creative muse, you were saying something. That's what
Idea
you were
mill.
doing. And I want to know, this is the Jordan and Belichick is Larsa and Marcus for white people. And I want to know when you're going to spread it around a little bit and go after your own people.
Like Manny Pacquiao's mom.
Well, he's fighting now at 48 or 49. He's coming back. He's fighting
He's a literal senator with deeply homophobic religious convictions. So not ideal for your boy these days on that front.
Don't ruin it.
I mean, it's true.
He's
my hero.
I can't believe that this is shooting up the charts. Because
Big breaking news follow-up story on the UNC Jordan front. Michael Jordan will appear on Peacock's NBA on NBC coverage as a special contributor. He is finally doing the media thing.
Michael Jordan. Peacock, NBC. That basketball deal, everybody wants broadcasters. I wonder how much that cost. And I like it as special correspondent. He'll wander off his couch and do a Zoom 3 times a week. Give him $700 million.
3 times a week?
3 times. I'm sorry, 3 times a year. My bad. Thank you. 3 times a year, he'll wander off the couch and do a Zoom from from the Last Dance chair with a drink in his hand. Pablo, thank you. Excellent reporting. Way to waste time and money chasing these people down with 11 sources. It's not real journalism. It's asinine.
Like and subscribe.
Yes, it's very popular, that podcast. Yes. So Zaz is scared of this thing here. He says he doesn't like it. It's not a thing to be liked.
Have you tried it?
I would never try that.
No, I'm saying the general concept.
You think a judge would be caught trying something like that?
No, I mean like the ring.
Did you guys account for the fact, I read this weekend,
Well,
it
now we
was
get shy.
so funny, that it's also totally not surprising that ChatGPT is basically responsible for college kids aren't studying at all anymore. Like they are just using AI to get through college, and we are becoming fast dumber. Like,
Yeah, you got to be careful with that. It's wrong all the time. They tried to tell me Josh McDaniels got fired twice in one season. That's how wrong it's been. Yikes. Yeah, I'm telling you. Trying to make me believe that Dennis Springer was black.
you owe a $50 fine for that one.
What? I figured that one out on the air. No. I saved us from being, misinformed.
How do you see a goat's eyelid and say, I know what I want to do with that?
From game night to parties with friends or special anniversary, celebrating important occasions means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Cheers to 50 years of Miller Lite, the great tasting light beer for people who love beer since 1975. Now's a perfect time to celebrate legendary stories with friends, family, and a great tasting light beer. It's Miller time. When I think of Miller Lite, I think of me and my dad cheersing, watching a Marlins game on a cruise together. We get the and the cheers. It's just, when I think of Miller Lite, I think of times with my dad, times with family and friends. It's the original light beer since 1975, still iconic 50 years later. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
All right, let's do some post-game. We'll bring Juju aboard here. Hello, Juju. How are you? You looking good?
What's up, my brother? I'm doing pretty good, man. Happy to be alive, man. Y'all looking fantastic. Great show today. You dig it?
Everyone enjoyed the show, yeah? Were people into it?
Hell yeah. I got a good note from somebody from my post-game shows. They said that, Juju, we can feel you, so stop asking us. So, yes, from now on, every time I say you feel me, I will pay a $2 fine because I got to get over that crutch.
All right. Well, now at least you know that people can feel you, all right? Communication is very, very important. Before we get to all the other stuff from today, we didn't even hit on Celtics-Knicks tonight. Now, I know you're wearing an Atlanta jersey here, but you're a Celtic fan. It's okay. Not everybody's perfect. Celtics-Knicks tonight. How are you feeling about tonight at the Garden?
Yeah, man, I'm still in the same position, bro. Fire Joe Mazzulla yesterday. I'm sick of it. It's so boring to watch my favorite team right now. This is an Atlanta Dream jersey, by the way. The WNBA is back, neither here nor there. But it's so boring watching my favorite team because even the shots they hit, I'd be like, no. Okay, Peyton Pritchard. No, don't. Okay, it's contested three-pointer from 50 feet. Like, I don't like the style of play they're playing just because there's a lot of lanes that they can attack, and they choose not to just for the three-pointer. So the Knicks, I mean, they had a rough day the other day, but at the same time, the Celtics will always leave you a chance because up 20, up 30, they're going to abandon whatever is smart and keep launching, and I don't like that at all.
When my team hits 23s, I usually like that. When you go 20 and 40, hit 50% for three, I'm like, you know what? I like it.
I was bummed, man, with the game on Saturday afternoon because at that point, going into that game, to me, I thought it was the most interesting game at that point of the entire postseason. Because it was like, I don't know what's going to happen here. Are we going to see this massive collapse from the Celtics? You got this incredible crowd at the Garden. Are the Knicks actually going to do the thing, which seems impossible? It was the most interesting scenario of the entire postseason to me, and we got such a dud. Like, I'm hoping we get something interesting tonight.
Right. And like you said, I think I said earlier in the show, like the NBA wants Boston versus the Warriors in the finals. I would take it a step further. I think that the NBA's dream scenario is to have the Warriors versus the Knicks in the finals. Those ratings would be marvelous. So yeah, America's team right now is definitely the Knicks, even though I'm a Celtics fan.
What about another team that's kind of out there playing the Warriors right now, and I feel like people are not really talking about them as much? Juju, the Minnesota Timberwolves, Julius Randle and them boys looking good.
Right. If you're going to get that version of Julius Randle, the Timberwolves are a dangerous threat. The only problem is with the Timberwolves, they go through different lulls during the game, like that second quarter, Warriors go on a run. Third quarter, Warriors go on a run. It's like they're not – I think that first series was so – fun for them versus the Lakers that they have to wake themselves up and like, yeah, let's get it done. Even though Steph Curry is not out here, I still think that's very dangerous when you're facing the Thunder or the Nuggets. So even though I love the Timberwolves as well, I want them to come out of the West, but Nuggets, I feel like the Nuggets and the Nuggets and the Thunder series is going to be the person going to the championship.
See, this is my problem with the Wolves. Wolves should be up 3-0 right now. Should be up 3-0
Yeah.
right now. You know, Steph Curry leaves the game in the middle of the second quarter. It was a 12-point game. The closest the Wolves got the rest of it was 9. They made up 3 points at one point with no Steph Curry. They should be on the verge of sweeping Golden State tonight. Like, if I'm going to take Anthony Edwards and Minnesota serious, they can't lose another game to a Warrior team that doesn't have Steph Curry.
Right. I think that first game, I think the Warriors was so hyped because people underestimate what Houston did to them. Like Houston was playing all world defense. So they were used to that defense. So they came up against the Timberwolves like, wait, I don't have Amen Thompson in my grill. Holy moly, here goes a 30-footer. And so I think that first game was a residual effect of that first series. But now the Warriors are kind of playing down a little bit to the competition. And you're right. They don't just stand a chance against the Timberwolves as a focused team if they focus.
Juju, how about the big NBA news of the day so far? Giannis is open to everything.
Yeah, open to everything. The Brooklyn Nets said they are ready to pounce on Giannis, and I was like, "Hey, yo, good wording there, Brooklyn Nets organization." But yeah, I don't think the Celtics. Y'all said earlier the Celtics would trade Tatum for Giannis. I don't think so. Not so fast, my friends. Lee Corso style. I think they might trade other pieces around them, add a little Porzingis in there a little. I know his contract is up though, so it's going to be rough. But I don't think they would trade Tatum for Giannis, in my opinion.
Is there a team out there where it's like, hey, are you ready to pounce on Giannis? And they're just like, nah, I don't think so.
Not sold on him.
Not really. Not
Right.
into it.
I think the Lakers have a shot if they put a package together with Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith, and like a Maxi Kleber for Giannis. Now we're talking.
And we were talking about Bam and Tyler not being enough. And you're going to throw the corpse of Maxi Kleber out there? Hasn't seen the court in 3 years.
Juju, we got some polls from today to catch up on. What do we got?
Yes, sir. 1 second. We had a lot of good polls today as well.
Couple big ones.
Welcome back. Hell yeah.
Big poll, not a big poll?
Big poll.
Hey, yo.
Giannis ain't going to Utah, brother. 73% of the audience says yes, he is not going to Utah, brother.
That's pretty low. It's pretty low.
Yeah,
Right.
who are the 30% that thinks he is going to Utah?
Yeah, apparently you. We have a $3 million bet on it.
Okay.
Right. One of the biggest polls that we have had on the show thus far. Does Mike care about the Panthers more than Barkov? 67% of the audience says yes,
Get the
Mike
hell outta
does.
Get the hell out of here.
I will not get the hell out of here. The audience has spoken.
Wow.
I am the Florida Panthers.
Wow.
Yep.
You should have the balls to go into that dressing room
Often.
and say,
Often.
I care more about the Panthers than you, and you say it right to Barkov's face.
I have one of the biggest platforms in sports media. Yeah. And it's not me. It's not just me saying it. It's an overwhelming majority of the audience.
Did Barkov ever get in an elevator with your Mark?
Or Keenan?
Nope.
What else you got, Juju? What other polls?
Is there any such thing as wrong anymore? 74% of the audience says no, there is not. Dang. Is Tibbs 6 feet tall? Even though we proved it by a quick little Google search, 71% of the audience says no, he is not.
Yeah, can't believe everything on Google. I get it.
Would you love to be on the same workout plan as Tom Thibodeau? 63% of the audience says no, they would not. Damn. Yeah. Nixon 6, I guess. And those are your polls.